Josh Taylor, Catterall. Catterall robbed on the night, right?
Yeah, 100%. You listen, I've been around boxing a long time and I've seen a lot of fights, and I was live at ringside. And yeah, I thought that Catterall clearly won the fight. I think Josh Taylor looked dead at the weight, to be fair. And I know that he's moving up now. And I've had a great conversation with Josh. Listen, I'm not slagging Josh off because he's a friend of mine, but I'm talking about this fight. And I just think that, he looked dead at the weight, and that looked like that from the opening bell. He looked like he was struggling to go with it. Like, when a fighter's struggling to go with it, his timing was out. He looked like he was trying to force it. He didn't look comfortable. And I think Catterall was just gaining momentum as the fight went on. And I think he was clocking the rounds up, and Josh was still trying to force it. He's coming back towards the end as Catterall was slowing down, but it was not nearly enough for me with a knockdown as well.
Sure.
I thought, I had to go with Catterall big on that one.
And Simon, you're with Spencer on that one. In fact, so much so you're now calling it the boxing board of no control.
Difficult to make a case for Josh. I know he made a case for himself after the fight. Stylistically, I thought Jack Catterall was all wrong for him, and proved to be so, despite all the protestations that Josh Taylor had. I know Andre Ward and people at the top rank have sit there suggesting that the scoring mechanisms are different, and their very point was that, in fact, Josh Taylor won. But I think it's a difficult case to make anything other than a pretty compelling Catterall win.
So Ben Davison is with us, Simon, in studio. And Ben, of course, you're in Josh Taylor's corner that night. How have you been dealing with all this post-fight analysis?
It's just part of the game, isn't it? I fully understand. I'm not going to sit here and say there's no way Jack Catterall won that fight. It's a fight that could have gone either way, in my opinion, depending on what you're looking at. And I think that something that stands out for me is over in America there is no controversy. It's not, that's only over here. I think there's an element of, and this is not taking nothing away from Jack Catterall or his team, because Jack boxed out of his skin and they had a fantastic game plan. But I think there's definitely an element of, oh my God, I didn't expect that. Jack doing a lot better than what people, not to say he didn't win rounds, he did win rounds. I thought, like I said, I've sat back, watched the fight, and I think it's a fight that could have gone either way. I fully would understand if you're looking at Jack Catterall's work and saying that's won the round for me. But there was a lot of work as well of Josh pushing the pace, and I think there was elements of, with the commentary, they were still talking about a shot that Jack had landed, an eye-catching shot, while Josh's his volume is going on, and
Ben,
they're
look
still
at
talking about Jack.
Whose arms did you expect to be raised at the end?
I said to Josh, this is close.
You said to him in the last round, Ben, didn't you? You said to him in the last round, you need a knockout to win this. You need to go out there.
Yes. So
did you feel that he was behind at that point?
I thought the 11th round, at the end of the 11th round, I thought lovely. Then obviously the point got taken off, and I thought, at the time, I'm still thinking, even with the 11th round in the bag, I'm thinking I cannot guarantee that we're well ahead here. The point got took off, and there was definitely no guarantee. I thought the fight was close. A few people around me had said, the faces that they were making. A couple of people had said to me, close, can't say. A few people had said to me they thought Josh was down. And Josh 100% needed that last round, in my opinion.
But is it good enough, Ben, to give the sport a pass on this one and say, this is boxing?
I just think that there's so many, like, everybody have an opinion here, but if we was to sit down and go, show me your scorecard, they won't even have a scorecard.
But Ben, do you think like not just talking about the Josh Taylor decision, but what's going on in boxing at the moment, and it seems to be sort of polluted with bad decisions. So we've seen some really bad decisions in recent times. Do you agree with that? Do you see, like, there's a couple of bad decisions last weekend, and even the fights where the winner's getting the decision, it's extremely close, and you think he's won that by 10 rounds. How's he won it by a round on the scorecards? Do you see that?
Yeah, the problem is the sport's opinionated. There's only 3 people that are in that environment that are sat down actually scoring the fight. Everybody, and this is my problem with people having an opinion on the scoring, is that are they actually in an environment to score the fight? Sometimes I look at results and think, I don't agree with that, but did I put myself in that environment? I'm not sticking up for judges and decisions that we don't all agree with, but I also do think it's hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes when you're watching it as a fan and not in an environment.
But as an expert, one of the judges has been asked to step down. As an expert, the environment factors into it, but as an expert that's able to watch the sport through expert eyes, that should give you a level of immunity from the background noise from the awareness of the expectation of the crowd. And that's why you're there as a judge. And if the judges are being... It wasn't just a case of opinions. Of course it's about opinions, but it was a universal with very few exception. And I'm a huge Josh Taylor fan, a huge fan of his. I think he's been marginalised, not given the TV coverage. I think he's an outstanding pound-for-pound fighter. But I cannot make any case for him having won that fight. As much as I want him to, because I want him to be successful. I want him to enjoy the spoils of the success that he hasn't had yet to date in terms of recognisability. But the manner in which he was offhand with Jack Catterall in the gloves are off, the complete and utter dismissiveness of him, and the manner in which Jack fought that fight, it's beggars belief that anyone genuinely thinks that Josh won that. They might want him to win it because it suits certain narratives, you as his trainer, and ultimately the people that want to make fights with him there on afterwards, like Top Rank. But the bottom line is Jack Catterall was robbed of an opportunity that he'll never get again, because the four belts are going to be scattered now, because your boy's going to step up weight, isn't he?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think the judges are being influenced, because in America there is no controversy. If it was that controversial, in America, they'd be saying the same thing.
So what's that got to do with the observation that you were making about
because
stepping into their shoes with all the conditions?
Because what I'm saying is these people that have got all these opinions, pull out your scorecard. And if they've all got the same exact rounds, Jack Catterall won this round, Jack Catterall won that round, Josh Taylor won that round, and it all matches up, but it wouldn't, because the rounds were hard to score. I can guarantee if we picked 20 random people... Let me finish. If we picked 20 random people to score that fight, sat on their own, I guarantee you the rounds that they gave Jack and the rounds that they gave Josh would be different. What does that tell you? That the fight was hard to score.
If you picked 20 people, though, Ben, to randomly score that fight, I guarantee you 19 of them would have come back in favour of Jack Catterall or whoever they think won the round.
But that's neither here nor there, because what we're saying is, we're looking at, but a fight isn't scored overall. A fight is scored round by round.
It's scored after 12 rounds, and it's whoever's won the fight.
It's scored round by round, though. So if people are giving Josh and Jack different rounds, what does that tell you? That there is an argument for Josh winning that round when someone else thought Jack won the round, which means that
it's about objectivity.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it comes at a time, Simon, and this is where we're going with this, Ben, that the reputation of the sport isn't in great nick because of the likes of the Bradley Skeet situation. You know what happened with him when the other fighter, Shiraz, was judged to have hit him, not once, twice, but 3 times.
3 times when
he's on the floor. And it's a decision like that gets people talking, but not in a good way.
For sure, and it's it's very difficult for someone that's in that moment. The referee's got to make a decision there. How many times have we seen, a decision get made and we think, oh, really? Like, let's say, for example, someone's got a bad cut through an accidental. We see probably could get stopped before the 4th round commences. But they allow the 4th round to finish so that the fight can go to scorecards because the right person's going to win
right.
in that situation.
Ben, your evaluation with all of the surrounding factors was you got to go and knock him out in the next round, which he didn't do. So how do you make a case for him winning the fight then?
Because that was just a guarantee. With the point being taken off from Marcus McDonnell, I've sat here and said that I can understand people saying that Jack won the fight. It was a close fight. And in my opinion, I couldn't sit there and say, for sure, you've got this. But
when you tell someone to go out and knock them out, though, Ben, as you know, mate, you're rolling the dice then because you can get knocked out yourself.
You can do, but I think Jack. He was winning. Yeah, but my opinion was Jack. A lot had been taken out of Jack. A lot had been taken out of Jack by that point. He was nowhere near as dangerous as he was earlier on in the fight. It was a lot of him holding. His form was not the same. He wasn't in a position where I thought Josh was going to get clipped coming in the same way as he did earlier on in the fight. And like I say, it was a close fight, and I knew Josh needed that round. And with the point taken off, there was no guarantees at the end of the 11th when Josh had the point taken off.
He's arguing the case pretty darn well for his fighter,
because I'm not going to sit here I wouldn't sit here and completely lie.
No,
but at the same time, I'm sit here and saying, I can understand people saying I think Jack won the fight. I can understand that.
You're doing well, Mr. Davison. Stay with us. Thursday lunchtime, Ben Davison live with us on talkSPORT.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.